It just got very real between the Miami Heat and star player Giannis Antetokounmpo. I'm here to break down the newest updates surrounding the star player in Giannis and how his removal of the Milwaukee Bucks could result in him landing in Miami. We'll break down all of that, as well as a new few quotes from Jake Fisher, one of the top insiders covering the game of basketball, and how Miami may have been waiting for this the entire time. We'll break down all of that on this episode of Heat Digest. But first, please do remember, scroll down and smash that subscribe button. Help us hit our goal of 5,000 subscribers. We do appreciate the love and support, so thank you guys. But now let's get to it and break down more Giannis updates. As it feels like every day that goes by, we continue to get more and more updates out of the Milwaukee Bucks organization as their premier player in Giannis Antetokounmpo, one of the best players not only in the Eastern Conference, obviously the best player on his team, but not only in the Eastern Conference, but in the league in its entirety. Giannis is one of the best players, without a shadow of a doubt, when he is healthy and on the floor. And now it seems like the bridges in Milwaukee and involving Giannis Antetokounmpo are diminished and they are burning. And it doesn't seem like there's going to be any way to recover from what has already taken place. And it doesn't just resort to the idea of what's happened over the last few days where Giannis looked like he faked an alleged calf injury. He's now going to be out for at least another week or so with said calf injury. But it goes back even farther than that. It goes back to why those actions would have even been made by Giannis in a Milwaukee Bucks jersey. They didn't go out there and acquire the help he was all looking for this offseason and even years past. You have Giannis. You have the ability to get to the NBA championship. Giannis wants to win. He has been abundantly clear, whether he's in Milwaukee, Miami, New York, Minnesota, you pick the team. He wants to win. And Milwaukee has done a piss poor job to surround him with enough NBA level talent to go out there and not only compete, but try to win an NBA championship. So let's get to it and break down a few different quotes. The first one is going to come from Jake Fisher, cited on Heat Central on Twitter, and it goes on to break down something that took place just a few years ago and how Giannis, and there were rumors surrounding Giannis that he would have enjoyed and he would enjoy the idea of living in South Florida, living in Florida in itself because of the lack of state income taxes and the culture itself and just the environment of Miami. Fisher on the Giannis to Miami rumors. Quote, the Heat have not forgotten that Giannis was said to have a level of interest in a move to Miami back in 2020. Sources say Antetokounmpo's management group was assessing the net worth of a 4-year max deal in Florida with no state income taxes. So, Jake Fisher pointing out something that took place back in 2020 and how the relationship between Miami and Giannis has been real, and there has always been some form of spark there. Whether there's actually something taking place or not, obviously it hasn't happened up to this point. But with everything taking place and the relationship between Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks organization, it seems like Miami may be in a position to go out there and actually make a move for someone who is a premier player in the association. Now, we've broken down this idea before in the last few weeks or so, and my take is going to remain the same. The amount of assets Miami would have to give up in order to land Giannis Antetokounmpo back in Miami is daunting and should make this organization, and the Heat organization, I should say, hesitant to go out there and make this move. Things have worked up to this point in the year, and Giannis would have another year under contract before his final year, which is a player option. So if Giannis wanted out of this contract and the team he is currently under contract with, he would just have to opt out of this contract. He would then become an unrestricted free agent, and we all know how that would go. As Giannis would have a trade market, that would be undeniable, and it would basically be every team in the association, whether you're in the East or in the West, regardless of the division, every single person, if they had the ability in some form of cap room, they would move mountains to go out there and try to at least put a bid in and get a contract offer out to Giannis Antetokounmpo. Based off of Kalishi Sports or Polymetwork or whatever is Kalishi Sports. It's basically a prediction market, and it goes out there and it's pretty accurate. It's been taking over the social media world, really the betting side of things over the last few weeks. And Miami finds themselves ranked behind, obviously returning to Milwaukee or retiring at 30%, the Knicks at 27%, Atlanta at 13%, San Antonio at 8%, followed up by Miami at 6%, just above the Golden State Warriors. it's interesting. These teams are going to be in the mix as well as others if Giannis is actually going to be available this season or this up and coming off season, as Milwaukee's going to have to move him. They can't let him just sit out and wait it all out in Milwaukee, play disgruntled, not really produce at the level in which he would like to or needs to, because he just doesn't want to be there any longer. And if they don't move him, then he's going to walk in free agency for absolutely nothing. And to lose Giannis to a no price tag would just be criminal. If you move Giannis, you're going to get a king's ransom, as we all know, as we've broken down mock trades. Excuse me, didn't mean to do that, guys. I thought I brought one in. I guess I did not. But the idea is Giannis is going to require a whole lot in return. And I mean a whole lot. And it's not just Tyler Hero, Kasparas Jakučionis, and a few draft picks. No, it's closer to Kel'el Ware, Tyler Hero, Jaquez Jovic, and 2 draft picks. That is 6 assets going to Milwaukee in exchange for 1 asset in Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now, we can all assume that Miami would then get at least one more piece, maybe a Bobby Portis, maybe a guard, someone to then just throw into that Giannis trade, because the amount of assets going back to Milwaukee. But we couldn't be sure about that, and really the overall determined asking price from the Bucks organization in exchange for someone like Giannis, because of just how great he has been and continues to be every single time he steps onto the floor. I would love to know down below, what are your thoughts and opinions? Do you think Miami should go out there and move mountains to try to acquire Giannis and allow him to ride out the rest of this contract and possibly even extend him going forward to retire in Miami? Or would you rather hold on to the goods and pieces that Miami has done a great job to acquire over the last handful of years in order to be at the point they are in now, with a great collection of young talent as well as a bunch of elderly guys who have been in the league for some time and would be considered veterans to some extent, that have a unique playing style and one that has been successful up to this point in the year? I know Miami has exceeded a lot of expectations up to this point in the season, and with the idea that they've been stockpiling these players and these assets like the Jaquez's, like the Jovics, like the Pelle Larsons, the Kasparases, the Kashad Johnsons, the Kel'el Wares, the Tyler Heroes. There's a lot of interesting pieces on this Heat team. And we know that because we've watched them play up to this point through, 20 games of this NBA regular season. And they've played very, very interesting and very effective for that matter. They're getting out and they're running on the break. They're shooting a lot of three-point shots and they're getting to the free throw line while attempting to defend and rebound at their highest and greatest ability. If you were to trade these assets and these players and something along the lines of a Tyler Hero, Kel'el Ware, Jaquez, Jovic, and 2 draft picks, both being first rounders, you'd be giving up 4 player assets that are currently substantial pieces on this Miami Heat team, as well as 2 draft picks that are first round picks, so they have a substantial amount of value going forward, especially with this upcoming draft class that is about to arrive to the NBA after this up and coming college basketball season. I don't know. I think Miami should go away from this. There's other options. And honestly, I don't think they need to even explore some of these options. I think their best chance is go out there, possibly acquire a complementary player that can fit in coming off the bench, give some type of scoring boost to really boost the second and third unit coming off the bench for this Heat team, and really result in just being a really collective team that they've already put out there. They've been very good up to this point. They're playing a different brand of basketball than really anyone in the league, and different than anything the Miami Heat organization and any Miami Heat team in the past has played. I think they keep this brand and just don't go out there and move mountains. Yes, would it be cool? Would it catch headlines? Would you have a big name, one of the biggest names in basketball, now a part of the Miami market? Without a doubt. But look at the names and look at the assets you've gone out there and built over the years, brick by brick, acquiring these guys year after year through the draft and obviously free agency and the trade market. Why give up on all of it when it's been so successful up to this point? Again, let me know down below your overall thoughts and opinions on this entire idea and whether or not you'd like to see Giannis in a Miami Heat jersey, despite the overall value in the draft and trade compensation it would require. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on the next one.